Hello guys, welcome back. Now in this session, we are going to learn about configurable flow with Power Automate. So to learn this concept, we are going to do a project in this session. So let's look into the requirement. So this is our requirement where business wants to set up a help desk system where user raise requests for tech support, HR support and other kind of support for each of these requests. And for each of these request type, he wants to define who are the respective approvers are. For some request type, business don't want any kind of a approval. For some request type, he needs manager's approval. So guys, business wants approval should be different for each of the request type. So such kind of a system he want to introduce for his business. So guys, this is our requirement. And to cater this requirement, we are going to use Power Automate with SharePoint. And within SharePoint, we are going to create two types of list. So let's look into the schema of these lists. So guys, we need two kind of lists. The first one is the approver config, which holds the configuration of the approvers which business wants to set up. For example, for some of the requests, business wants to set up the manager's approval, but for some of the requests, he don't want any kind of approvals. So to cater this requirement, we need to create this list. Title will hold the details about the request type. Then we have the approval required, which is of Boolean type, which holds that whether approval required or not, so that the flow will take the further decision. Then there is a manager's approval. This is also a Boolean field. This field we can use for configuration of the manager approval, whether for this particular request manager's approval required or not, that you can specify. Then over here we are having approval type, which contains everyone should approve to mark the request as completed or say approved, or only a single person who will get the response first, and if he has approved it, that is considered as approved. So what kind of approval type the flow should follow? This we have already done earlier. If you remember that, if you are following my course, in most of the example we have used first to respond as well as everyone must approve. That also we are dynamically setting over here with the help of approval type field. In the next we are having the approvers, which is of type person, where we can define who all users are the approver for this particular request. You can also define multi-level approval system over here, where for a particular request, if you want to set up 3 levels of approval, that you can specify 3 persons name over here who is going to be the approver for this type of request. The next schema I am having over here is for help desk. For the help desk, we are going to have the title column, which is of type single line of text. Then we are having description. It gives the information about the description of the help, what the help the user is looking for. Then the request type. Here we have a specified tech support, HR support and other support. On the basis of this, the approval configuration will be used by flow to take further action. Then we are having over here in the help desk schema the priority. It will choose the priority, what kind of request priority it is. Then we have the approval comment, where the approval comment will be captured which approvers provide. Then we are having approval status, which has new, approved, rejected, pending manager approval. So now let's jump into the SharePoint, and where we will create the list using these schemas. So I am inside the SharePoint and I will go to the list, and over here blank list. I will call this list as approval config create. Next I will specify column over here, which is called request type, and that is going to be choice field. I will call it as request type. I will come over here, the choice field, it is going to be the choice field. It is going to be the text support, HR support and other support. Next we have approval required, that is going to be the yes no column boolean value over here. So we need to specify over here approval required, which is of type yes no. By default it is going to be yes. Save. Next we have manager's approval, that is also going to be boolean. Here I will specify manager approval. Save. The last field we are going to have is the approvers field, which holds the name of the approvers. So that is going to be person type. So over here we need to specify approvers, which is of type person and group. Show profile photo over here, more options, and over here this time I am going to allow multiple selection, because there are multiple people who is going to be the approver for the request in some scenarios. So I am going to enable this one and click on save. Then we have another column that is called approval type, and that is going to be the choice which holds the information about first to respond or everyone must respond. So I'm going to specify over here approval type, and over here I'm going to tell first to respond, or it is of type everyone must respond. Save it. Now we are done with the approval config list creation. So guys, now I am going to make some entry into this list, then I will show you, and till the time I am going to pause this video. So guys, I have made an entry, and over here you will see that for the tech support we needs only the approval required. That means if any request which is related with the tech support, where we must have to enable the approval system, and for this reason I have marked it as yes. And who is going to be the approver for all the tech support? I have kept it Megan. You can keep many people if you want. And what type of approval it is? It is first to respond. So any of the person who belongs to the approvers group, he can or she can approves it, and whoever is approved first, his action is considered as approved or reject. Now next we are having the HR support. HR support, you will see it over here. I have kept approval required, as well as we also need the manager's approval for any of the HR related tickets. For HR related ticket, we have multiple approvers over here. Everyone must respond. The next we are having is the other support. In the other support, you will notice over here we don't have configuration for approval, because for other support we don't require any kind of approval. It will be directly approved. That we call it as system approved, and we don't have any kind of a value over here for approval required, manager's approval, then approvers and approvals type. Now we are done with the approval config list creation. Let's proceed further. Create the help desk list. So how we will do that? We will go to the site contents, and over here we will click on list new, and over here we will click on new list, blank list, and over here we will specify the name, click on create, and then I will define the column from the schema. So let me define it using the schema from the Excel. To save the time, I am going to pause the video, and once I ready I will show you. So guys, I have created the field over here. You will look into that. There is a description I have created, request type which holds the information same like tech support, HR support and other support. Then we are having the priority, where I have defined 5 types of priority over here. You will look into that P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. So if any of the request you are creating, it belongs to any one of these priority. And then we are having the approval status. If you will look into this, then you will find that it has 5 status which I have defined inside the schema which I shown you earlier, and that is new, approved, pending manager's approval, and rejected. So these 5 choices we have, and that will be applied as per the action taken. Save it. Let's look into other field. The other field we are having is the approval comments. So over here you will see that this is the approval comment which is of type multi-line. So that's it for the help desk list. So now let's proceed further and let's create the flow. So how we will do that? I will come over here, click on 3 dots, integrate, Power Automate, see your flows, and over here click on new flow, automated cloud flow. I will specify your name, configurable flow, and over here I will select when an item is created, trigger. Click on it, and now over here I will specify the site address and the list name. So for the site address I am going to pick this one, lab exercises. Come over here, click on enter custom value, paste it over here. Then I have list name over here. I'm going to select our help desk so that any of the entry gets created inside the help desk. Then this flow gets triggered. Now let's add the next step. So over here, the next step we can decide upon what kind of request type user has selected. For example, if a user is going to create a new entry, and at that point of time he is selecting tech support, HR support and other support, and on the basis of this selection the other step will be decided, where we need to query the approval config to fetch the details about approval configuration. So what I mean to say that, let's look into it. So over here what will happen, that on the basis of the request selection, the request type selection, this particular record will be picked, and on the basis of this particular record it will identify that whether the approval required or not, and if required, who is going to be the approver for that and what kind of approval type is that. So how we can get all these information within the flow, that is what our next step is. So for that I'm going to query the approval list on the basis of the request type selection which user has done while entering the record. So and that is going to come inside the body of the trigger. So I will come over here, click on new step, and there is a action called get items from the SharePoint that I will pick, and over here I will select the site address. So I will pick the site address from this place. Again I will copy the link over here, copy it, let's go back, come over here, click on enter custom value, paste it over here. I will select the site name, I will select the list over here. So this is going to be the approval config. Next I need to specify the filter query over here. So filter query, I am going to query the title column. So the title column of the approval config. So let me write over here, title equal to the request type which user has selected. Where he has selected? He has selected over here. So this type. So how I will get this information within the flow? So in the trigger body, if you will look into the dynamic content, you will find that request type value. So if you will type over here, then you will find that request type value. So this is the value which holds the information about the request type. So I am going to compare this with the title column. If it is existing there, so I am going to specify the request type over here. So make sure that you are putting the quotes over here, single quotes, and within that, in between that, you need to put this one, select this one, request type value. With the help of this filter query, it will fetch the record which has the approval information as per the request type. Now with the help of this query, we will get the output. Now next step, this get item will return the array, and I want the first value. Even though it will return the single value, but get item holds the information into an array, and to fetch the data from the array, I need to write an expression to get the first value. So to do that, I am going to create a compose option over here. I will write compose, and this I will select over here, and within that I am going to put an expression called first of, and over here I am going to specify the dynamic value over here, and which we are getting from this particular action, and that is returning the value over here. So I will select this one and click on OK, and over here I will tell that approval information. So now we are done with this step. Now next we need to check that whether approval required or not for this particular request. So how I will do that? I will come over here and create a new step that is of type condition, and over here I will check that whether approval required or not. If required, then it will follow this path. If not required, then this will follow this path. So how I will grab that boolean value which we are specifying over here, this boolean information, true or false, or say yes and no. So how I will get this information? So far you see that we have grabbed the get item, and then we have extracted the information with the help of this particular expression. So my output is sitting over here, and within this output I need to get the value of the approval required, and on the basis of that value I need to take further action. So how I will grab it? So over here I will come over here and write an expression over here. The expression is going to be outputs of approval information. So I will specify over here the name of it, approval information, and it holds a key, and key is your approval required. So you need to specify over here approval required, and this will return me the value over here whether it is checked or not checked. If it is checked, then it becomes true. If it is not checked, then it is become false. So I will first click on OK, and over here I need to specify the boolean value over here. If it is true, is equal to true or not, then I will take the further action. So with the help of this condition, the flow will come to know that whether approval required or not. If it is not required, we can directly go ahead and mark it as approved, and we will call it as system approved. So for that I am going to introduce an update item over here, update item action, and this I will select it, and again over here I am going to specify the list name, the site URL. I will copy this one, enter custom value and paste it over here, and then over here I will select the help desk ID. I am going to specify over here ID, then title I am going to grab the title over here from the with this one. I will first write title when item is created, trigger. This is from the trigger body. Description, I will leave it as is. I will select this one. Request type, the custom value. I will come over here and here request type. I will select this one. Request type value. Priority value is also going to be the dynamic value which I am grabbing from the trigger. So priority, I'll select this one, priority value. Now over here within the approval status, this is going to be marked as approved. Then the approval config, it is marked as false over here. There is no entry, that means it is false and there is no approval required. And comment, I will specify auto approve by system. So now we are done with the logic for the no branch. Now if it is true, then we have to check for manager's approval, whether manager's approval required or not. And that is what over here the configuration is. So to do that, I am going to introduce the logic over here to check the manager's approval required or not. And for that, I am going to introduce one of the thing where the help of that you can increase the readability of your flow logic, and that is called scope. So I am going to use a scope over here, and within this scope, I am going to give a name of this scope, manager approval. And within that, I am going to check the condition over here, whether manager approval required or not. And to check the manager approval, how I will do that? I will use the same thing. I am going to use the expression over here, call it as outputs, and output from the approval information. And from the approval information, I want to check, this is going to be the parenthesis instead of square bracket. And here we need to specify the square bracket, and I will capture the key called manager approval, and this is the field name. From here, if you will come over here, if you will short it, this one, yes to no, over here you will find that the internal name of the field over here, it is manager approval, and that is what we are using inside this one. So this is the same name which we have used. I will click on OK, and over here I will check for whether it is required or not. So for that I am going to specify true over here. Click on OK. Now if email ID of the manager, I will grab the email ID of the manager, get manager Office 365. I will select over here, and you will see that we are having get manager. So over here I need to specify the email ID of the created by whoever is the person who has created the request. So how I will get it? I will come over here, type email, and over here when an item is created from this trigger, I want created by email, and I will specify over here. Once it is being done, let's update the item. So I will call the update item action, and over here I will specify site address. I will come here and you will grab this one into custom value, select the list name, we will specify the ID over here, title, I will change the approval status over here. This is going to be pending manager's approval, and comment over here I need to specify manager approval pending, and over here I will display the manager name. So I will come over here, display name, I will select this one. Now we are done with the update item step. Now next we need to start the flow for manager. So how I will do that? I will come over here and add an action, and I will type start and wait. I'm going to use this one, start and wait for an approval, and over here I'm going to select approve reject first to respond, and then I will specify the title over here, and over here I'm going to use request type value approval. For here the display name come, so here created by, I will pick this one, created by display name over here, then assign to, I'm going to grab the dynamic content mail over here, which is coming from the get manager connector. So I will select this one, then details over here, description, I will pick this description, item link, I will type link to item, I will select this one, link to item from the trigger, and then we have item link description. Here I am going to specify the title, so I will write title over here, and the title I am going to pick it from the when an item is created. So I will select this one. Now I am done with this step. So now we are done with this step. Next we need to check the outcome. So to check the outcome of the manager's approval, I will come over here, add this condition, and over here I will add the outcome, and outcome should be approved. If it is approved, then I need to update an item. So I will come over here, update item action I will pick up, and over here I need to specify the site address. I have specified the detail over here. Then we need to specify the approval status value over here. So I will come here, select this one, and pick the pending. Instead of pending, it should be pending approval. Let me correct it. So I have corrected it. Now over here you will get the pending approval. This is related with the other approvals which is falling into the queue, and that is coming from this place. So if manager's approval is required and managers approved it, then it will go further and pick up the approvers from this list. and for that I am going to tell over here that approval status value is pending approval. Next I need to specify the approval comments over here, and I am going to put over here the manager's comment. So how I will do that, I will write over here manager display name. I will pick this one, manager display name as approved, and then I will specify the comment which he has provided, and over here I will search for response comment and I will get it over here, responses comment. This is for the yes case. For the no case, I am going to copy this one and change it to as rejected. So let me grab this one. I will come over here, add an action, my clipboard. I will select this one, and over here I need to change it to rejected and provide the approval comment. Over here I will select rejected, and over here I need to specify as rejected, and the comment I am going to leave as is. And the comment over here I am going to select response comment. I will select over here responses comment. So now we are done with the rejected case. Now let's go back and design the logic after the manager's approval. Over here, once managers approve it, it should go to approvers. So I will go back to the flow, and over here I am going to introduce a variable that is called approval needed. So I will call it as variable. First I will initialize a variable, and this is of type boolean, and this is called var approval needed, and I will tell that true or the default value, and I will rename it approval needed is approval needed. Now with the help of this boolean value I will write the logic. So now if managers reject it, then it will not proceed further. So for that scenario I am going to mark that variable as false, and this is our rejected case over here. You remember that we have built this one, and over here I will set the variable as false. So I will select this one, set variable action, and over here I am going to mark it as false. So within the expression I will write false, and I will select this one, okay, so that the flow will not proceed further for other approvals. And after this step, there is one step we have to specify, that we should mark the pending approval. If manager's approval is not needed, in that scenario also we need to make sure that we are setting the value for pending approval, so that our flow will fall into the condition where it will set this value where approval needed to false, so that it will not proceed further. So over here I will come, if in case manager approval not needed, so I will come over here, add an action, and my clipboard I will select update item, and this is what we are doing at the else block of manager's approval when manager's approval not needed, and that is what we are doing over here. And over here we are telling that pending approval, and I will not specify any of the comment over here. So now we are done with the manager's approval scope. Now let's proceed further, and let's start for main approval activities, which is for these people over here. So I am going to define a block over here, that is scope over here, scope, and I will use this one, and within this I am going to write the logic for our main approval. So I will write over here main approval, and this approval only begins when our is approval needed variable is true. So how I will check that, I will come over here, add a condition over here, and over here I will check that variable needed is true. So I will check over here true. Okay, so now if this value is true, then we need to create the logic to send the approval request to these people who belongs to the approvers column. So I need the email address of these people. So how I will grab it, let's look into that. So to grab the email address, I am going to perform a data operation that is called select, and I will select this data operation action, and over here I will grab the output of approval information which has the column name, that is this approvers, and that holds the value which exists over here. So how I will grab that information, let's look into that. So what I am going to do, over here I am going to write an expression called outputs, and within that outputs of approval information, and approval information is this particular operation which we have done earlier, and from this I am going to grab the approvers column. This is the approvers column, which is this name and this field name are the same. It is internal name. I have kept it simple. So this is going to be the internal name also, whatever the name I have specified while creation, and that is what I am using over here in the expression. So both are the same. And now I will click on OK. Now over here in the map I am going to text mode, and over here I am going to write another expression that is to grab the email. So over here I will write item, and over here I need to mention email. So this will grab the email of the approvers. I will click on OK, and if you will go over here, so whatever the email which is associated with this person field for these users, that will be extracted with the help of this expression. Now we are done with this step. Now next step, we need to create the dynamic approvals for these users so that they will get the approval request to take their actions. So how we will do that? Let's look into that. For this scenario, I am going to add an action, and this time I am going to create approval, and I am going to select create an approval over here, and over here I need to enter the custom value. Why custom value? That is because we want to define the dynamic logic which will be changed as per approval type. If choice value everyone must respond over here, then this particular approval should be created as per the choice value. If selected first to respond, then this approval should select first to respond. So how we will achieve this functionality with the dynamic logic? So let's look into that. So for that I am going to enter custom value. So to achieve this, I am going to write an expression over here, and our expression will look something like this. If equal outputs of approval information, that is this one, approval information, we want the value of this approval type column, and that is a choice field. So how I will extract the value over here? So I will tell approval type value, as it is a choice column, so that the reason we need to specify the value over here, and we will check that if the value is everyone must respond. So make sure that you are matching the case over here. So whatever the case which you are following, for example title casing over here, so you have to follow the same over here. So you need to specify everyone must approve, and then over here if this is true, then you have to pick this option, basic, await all, and next. If it is not, if it is false case, if anyone selected first to respond, then the type is going to be the basic. So what actually it is, I will show you. Let me show you what actually this basic, await all, and basic is. I will click on OK over here, and then I will show you now. So suppose if you are creating an approval over here and selecting the type everyone must approve, and if you will go inside the code, pick code, then you will find that this approval type within the Power Automate framework, it is called as basic await all, and that is what we are referring. Now suppose if you are selecting approve reject first to respond, and if you go inside the pick code, then you will find that this approval type is called as basic, and that is what we are telling. If user has specified the choice everyone must respond, then the approval type is going to be basic await all, and if user has specified first to respond, then it should be basic. So that is what we are performing over here. So let me delete this one. This is for explanation, and now I will proceed further. Now next we need to specify the approval creation input, and that is going to be the JSON value. So over here I am going to create this JSON, and this JSON first I am going to specify the title. As you remember that whenever we are selecting first to respond, so it is asking for title. So same like this time we are specifying the custom value in the approval type. That the reason we need to specify in the JSON format. So over here I need to specify title, and for the title I am going to use the trigger output over here. In the expression I am going to use the dynamic content over here, and that is going to be request value type, and along with that I will tell approval, and make sure that you should put inside the double quotes and put comma. Now next we need to specify the assigned to. So over here I will mention assigned to, and it is going to be the semicolon separated email. Our email address is coming inside this one. This select operation which is giving us an array, and that we need to merge it. So how we will merge it? With a semicolon separated to make a single string. So I will come over here, I will write an expression join, and over here I will select the output. I will come over here dynamic content, and then I will search for select. So over here if you will come, then you will find that this is the output of the select operation. I will select it, and this holds the email address in an array, and that I want to merge with the semicolon separated, so that we will get all the email addresses in a single string. I will click OK over here, and make sure that this is also within the double quotes. Next we need to specify the enable notification. So for that I am going to write enable notifications, and make sure that over here that is also this key is inside the double quotes, and this value is going to be true. And next we need to specify the reassignment. For that I am going to write enable reassignment, and over here I need to specify true. So we are done with the create an approval step, and make sure that this comma is not needed. Now flow checker, there is no error, we are okay with the step. This is pure dynamic logic and which is driven from the list. As per the approval type input, flow will create that particular approval with the help of this step. Now once it is being done, we will proceed to the next step. We need to wait for the approval. For that I am going to use wait for an approval, and over here we need to specify the approval ID, and the approval ID we need for this particular step. So we need to grab the ID with an expression. So to grab the ID, I need to specify the expression over here, and the expression is going to be outputs of the previous step. Previous step name is create underscore an underscore approval. That is because the space is being replaced with the underscore. And next we need to specify body slash name. Okay, so this will return us the ID. Now let's proceed for the next step. Over here I am going to create the condition, and condition is to check for outcome. So I will select the outcome, and doesn't contain reject over here, then it will proceed for the yes block. If it contains the reject, then it will proceed for the no block. So let's add action for these. So I am going to add an action over here, update item, that you are already aware about. Update an item, and over here I need to specify the URL into custom value. I will specify this one, select the help desk, and over here I need to specify the ID. I am going to grab it from the when an item is created. Over here I will select that one, and the title, I'm going to pick the title over here from the trigger body. I will come over here when item gets created. I will select this one, and then over here I will mark it as approved, and over here comment I will select response summary, and I will copy this one and go to the no block, select this one, my clipboard. I will select this one, update item 6, and over here I will specify rejected, and within the approval comment I'm going to specify the dynamic value response summary, and this steps completes our flow. So now we are done with the flow creation. Let's proceed further and do the testing. So to do the testing, I need to go inside the help desk. This is the list where our trigger is bind with. So over here, the simplest test case I will execute first. So over here, if you remember that I have other support where we don't have approvers and it is automatically approved by the system. So I will come over here and create a ticket inside the help desk. So over here I will tell that request for stationery need printers ink, and over here the request type is going to be other support, priority P5, approval status new, and I will click on save. So now let's refresh it, and you will see it over here. It is marked as approved and auto approved by system because there is no approval cycle. So this is our first test case. That is very simple. Now let's proceed for the second test case, where I need to raise a tech support request where we have approval cycle associated with tech support, and the approver is Megan and the approval type is first to respond. So I am going to create another ticket that is for tech support, and then it will go to Megan. I will log in as a Megan and approve the request. So let's do it. We will go back, come here, click new, and I will tell that request new O365 license. I will copy this one and paste it over here. Request type is going to be tech support, priority it is going to be P3, approval status new, and save. So over here we have created a new ticket for O365 license. Now you will notice over here it went to the pending approval. So now let's log into the Megan account and let's approve the request. So now I have logged into the Outlook of Megan, and over here you will find that we got a mail over here. So I am going to open this mail, and over here you will find that we got approval request over here. This is actionable message. I'm going to click on approve, and over here I will specify approved and submit. Now I will go back to the SharePoint and let's look into the approval status. And over here you will find that it is marked as approved. Now we are done with the testing of the tech support. Now we will proceed further and do the testing for the HR support, where we have approval type everyone must respond, and over here we have manager's approval enabled, and we are having multi-approval over here. So for this request I am going to log in as Megan, and from Megan account I am going to raise the ticket because over here I am one of the approver. That's the reason I am going to use Megan account, and Megan manager is Miriam. And over here, if you will hover over here, then you will find that Megan manager is Miriam Graham. Then I will log in as Miriam and I will approve the request. Then it will proceed to next level of approval, where the approvers are myself and Alex. If we both take actions, then only the approval status will be decided. If one of the person will reject, then it considered as rejected. If all the person has marked it as approved, then it will considered as approved. So let's go to the Megan account. So I am logged in as Megan. Over here you will see that it's a Megan Bowen account, and I will come over here, go to the help desk, and over here I will create a new entry. So I am going to create an entry, HR letter request. I will copy this one, paste it over here, HR support approval status. I will mark it as new and save it. So now I have raised a request from the Megan account, and now the request will go to the Megan manager, that is Miriam. So let's log in as Miriam. Now over here, this is the Miriam account, and you will see it over here says Miriam Graham, and over here she got an email. Let's open the email, and over here I will approve the request as Miriam. So over here I will mark it as approved. The moment I will approve it, then it will proceed for the another approval, that is this one. So one mail I got, another mail Alex got. So we both of us to approve the request, then only this request marked as approved. So let's proceed further, and over here you will see that the status is also being captured pending approval, and over here you will see that we are also capturing the comment. So now let's proceed further, and I will go to my approval dashboard, and over there I will approve it. So I will come over here, action item, approvals, and over here you will look into that. It is waiting for my approval. So I will come over here, click on this tick mark, and over here I will select approve, and I will mark it as approved and confirm. So once it is being done, I will go to the Alex account, and from there also I need to mark it approved, then only this request considered as approved request. So over here I logged into the Alex Outlook, and over here I will open this one, and over here you will find that I am getting that this request is already being completed, and that is because I did a mistake by giving the name inside the entry. So what I mean to say that, let me explain you. If you look into entry over here, I have given the name everyone must respond, and inside the flow I have given this one. If you look into this formula, then you will come to know that I have written everyone must approve. So this is the mistake I did over here. So what happened, when this block of code gets executed, it is going to the else block, and else block we are having the basic, and basic is first to respond. That means if any person who is taking the first action, his response is considered as the final approval, and with this case, and that is what it happened. So to fix it, what I am going to do, I am going to specify this entry into my choice value, and I will rerun the test again to check the basic await all action. So let's do it. So I will come over here and select this formula and go here, and instead of approve I will write respond and update, and you will see it over here. I have used everyone must respond. Now I am going to rerun the test case, and let's do it. I have already saved it. Now I go back to the Megan's account, and from there I can raise the request again. So I come back to the Megan's account, and over here I am going to create a new request, and I will call it as request for service letter. Copy the same, put it into description. Request type, this is going to be HR support. Priority, it is going to be P3. Approval status new, and then I will click on save, and you will see it over here. It has created a new request. The flow is not triggered yet. Let me refresh again. And now over here you will see that it went for manager's approval. And who is the manager? Manager is Miriam. Let me log into the Miriam Outlook. So I am over here into the Miriam Outlook, and I am going to open this message, and over here I am going to approve this request, and I will tell that approve, submit. The moment I will submit it, it will go to the approvers, which is myself and Alex. So let's log into my approval dashboard, and from there I will approve it. But prior to that, let me show you the status, approval status, and over here you will see that the approval status is pending approval. So now I will go to my approval dashboard and approves it, and I will come over here and over here I will select this one, click on this tick mark, and over here I will specify approve and confirm. Now this time it will not marked as approved, so let's verify it. Over here you will come and refresh it, and over here you will see that it is still in pending approval. Even though if I will refresh it, it is still in pending approval. So now I will log in as Alex and I will approve it. Then what happened, that it will marked as approved. And why this behavior is, that is because this request is related with the everyone must respond. So that's the reason it is waiting for the Alex approval. So let's go ahead and take the action on behalf of Alex. So I logged in as Alex. I will come over here, and over here I will select this one and I will tell approve and submit. And the moment I will submit it, I will go back to my SharePoint list, and over here you will see that it marked as approved. And over here you will see that Alex has provided the approval, and that was the last one. So I have covered all the three cases, and all the test cases over here is the dynamic workflow. And this is what I wanted to demonstrate you in this session. So on this note, I am stopping over here. See you in the next session. Till then, bye bye. Take care.